Welcome back to Play Tessie. It is episode 31, the John Lester episode, but actually, I should probably say it's the Jonathan Papelbon episode because this is the official podcast of playing 162 games, and we got Jonathan Papelbon on the show. Fellas, what do you say?
Oh, dude, that interview was electric. People are going to love it.
Yeah, I didn't know if the personality would convey like over a video. It exudes. That lived up to the bill exponentially.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm like buzzing. I feel like I just drank coffee just because Pap is like, it's infectious. The energy like goes through the screen and you just want to like yell and strike out Smith from Colorado and win the World Series again. That'd be dope.
I feel like I just drank a bunch of Crown.
It also made me remember how good it feels to have like a closer, a rotation, lineup 1 through 9 that you can go, oh, these guys are good.
Like the basics.
But I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be positive today. We had an awesome interview.
That.
And, I'm excited to hear what people think of it.
Pap was on the Red Sox. What was his first year? He make his debut in 05, but his first real season was 06.
Yep.
Am I right on that? Yeah. And then he was on the team through 11, aka he pretty much had a competitive team every single year he was with the Red Sox and was in the playoffs more often than not. Like, this is a guy who closed out a World Series with like a blow it right by your face strikeout, Seth Smith. Like, yeah, this guy did it all for the Red Sox. Like, I mean, nowadays it's like he's doing like podcasts. He's on Nesson. He's doing the Cinco Ocho show, and like he's doing what he should be doing because his personality is so freaking awesome. Like, he's got to be out there. But like people of our age demographic, like we remember this guy when we were kids. Like Jonathan Papelbon was our guy. Like we had Keith Folk. I mean, Sammy, I don't know how you feel because you're like a year or two older than me, but like I remember a little bit of Keith Folk, but like my childhood closer was Jonathan Papelbon.
How old do you guys think? I'm 20. Okay, anyone listening? I'm 29 years old. These guys talk about me like I'm 58 years old. No, I remember.
What was Jim Rice like?
I was at his debut. Yeah, freaking Coop was talking about being at Papelbon's debut, and I still remember like Green Monster with no seats. But anyway, Keith Folk. Yes,
wait, was that a joke or is that real?
What? No, I really do. I remember my.
Oh, you really do?
I went. Pedro was pitching. It was against the Devil Rays, and I remember there were no seats. And then I remember they put in the seats, and just being like, "How are you gonna get up there?" I'm a little kid. Ladders exist, so.
See, this is why we think you're old, dude. I can't. My first, like, there's been seats there as long as I can remember. When I see no seats there, I automatically assume it's like footage from the 80s.
Oh my God! Back in my day, Gordo, I would go to a Red Sox game for a nickel. It was wonderful. But no, Keith Folk, I do remember Keith Folk. I remember not understanding the significance of him because when he was signed, it was a big deal. That was the same offseason where it was like, we might get A-Rod, blah, 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 blah. Folk came in, and one thing I remember vividly was going to a Red Sox game, sitting in right field, and seeing someone with a shirt that said, Folk the Yankees. And I kind of understood the joke, but I showed it to whoever I was with, my dad or uncle or whoever took me to the game. They were like, it's a play on words for fuck the Yankees.
Well, how old were you?
I was like, wait, no, I'm not answering this.
you were like 20 years old in 04, right?
How old was
22?
I? No, I was 10.
Yeah, so
he was 24 years old. It was his man year.
Yeah, when you saw Jim Rice in Pawtucket, you were 30.
I hate you guys. You guys, okay, well, what? Yeah, I remember Keith Folk anyway. To get to the point of the question, he had a nasty changeup, and that was kind of like how I learned changing speeds matters. Because to me, it's slow. Who cares? But then you learn like you play off the fastball, and it, anyway. But yes, Papelbon for our age demographic, I would say, is the closer that we remember the most, especially the big personality. The throwing the glove in 2007, the good and the bad. Crawford probably should have caught that ball, but we love Pap.
Yeah, there was so much that went with him, and like obviously after he departs for Philly, what was their immediate solution? Because there was a year in between him and Bailey, right? Or no, they went
Wasn't
straight
it
to Bailey, right?
Melanson? It was
no.
Melanson,
Oh,
wasn't
it
it?
was Melanson.
Melanson in 2012, and then 2013 was Joel Hanrahan. That didn't work. Then it was Andrew Bailey. That didn't
Well,
work. Then it
hold
was
on, Bailey.
Junichi Tsuzawa, and then it was Koji, which worked.
Bailey was
Bailey
a
was
World
12
Series
as
champ,
well.
though.
Yeah, but he didn't work as the closer.
Right. Yeah. So did they try him and Melanson same year? Did they get both of those guys? That sounds about right. Like, because Melanson
I'm
wasn't
pretty
the third
sure,
team.
yeah.
So then they got Hanrahan. That doesn't work. And you've got Koji, and like you're set. Was there something in between Koji and Kimbrel?
What year? Kimbrel came in 2017.
Oh, geez. There must have been 2 years in between. We must have. Who the hell was saving games? I mean, those teams stunk anyway.
It wasn't
like
Workman.
No, he came later. He closed in 19, right? Yeah, because Kimbrel left.
They made the playoffs those years too.
No.
Why are we all blanking out?
Kimbrel came in 16.
Was 16.
Kimbrel came in 16, so it's just 15. It's just 15 that we're missing.
Okay,
Koji. It was Koji.
Was Koji still there in 15? Okay, that would make sense then.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. We figured it out. That makes sense.
A smooth transition of power.
You know who else was on the 2015 team? Alexi Ogando.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah, brother.
Gordo last night in our Play Tessie group chat just sent like this weird picture of Alexi Ogando in like swim trunks, and he was like,
"Closer?" Question mark.
He was just like, Ogando. Why would you send this?
I have another one in the waiting. I was scrolling through his Instagram. I took a couple screenshots just to send you guys at random times. So maybe tonight I'll send you guys the other. But on that note, well, just like the transition from Koji to Kimbrel, I'm going to transition this to our interview with former Red Sox closer, current NESN broadcaster, and the leader of the Cinco Ocho show, Jonathan Papelbon.
We're joined by a special guest today, kind of the man of the hour. He's the Red Sox all-time saves leader by a clean 87 saves, 2007 World Series champion, and newly a Red Sox Hall of Famer. It's former Red Sox closer Jonathan Papelbon. Pap, how you doing, man? How's your offseason going? How's your family?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah, man, I'm chilling, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with NESN this year. Man, raising kids, shit never stops here, man.
Living the life.
Pap, I got to ask. We got to go over the Cinco Ocho show first. That was incredible. First thing we got to know, how did you prepare for it, and are you happy with how it went?
So I really honestly have not seen the show yet, to be totally honest with you, or the final edit. But yeah, I didn't really prepare at all for it, to be totally honest with you. I think they told me on a Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that, and then the event was on Saturday. So I really didn't prepare a whole lot. I will say that my main method of preparation on the day of was Crown Royal, essentially. So honestly and truthfully, I'm not going to even bullshit you, man. I just kind of flew by the seat of my pants, and I just tried to make the show as interesting as that I thought would be on things that I thought would be interesting, and then of course, have a little fun at the end with some of my ex-teammates.
Yeah, man. What was it like for you talking to some of the guys on the current team? Like you got to speak to Casas, to Story. You were talking to Cora, talking shit about the past. What was that like for you up there?
Well, today's player to me is a little bit different. I think that today's player is much more open. I noticed that, man, like Cora has a dialect with all these players, and he has like a relationship with every last one of them that were there. And in the past, I can't recall, Tito had great relationships with his players, but I can't recall all of my managers having that good of one-on-one relationships with everybody. So I was really surprised to see that. and not only that, I was surprised to see it, all the guys that showed up, that, to me, that says that they care. And to me, I still feel like the Red Sox have something up their sleeve, without trying to divulge too much information. I feel like the Red Sox front office, the coaches, and the staff all know what they got, and I saw that the line today was 82 wins with Vegas, so I'll be taking the over on the Red Sox this year at 82. I like that prop. So I think they have a lot of good young talent that is waiting to explode. I think Duran's waiting to explode. I think Devers is going to have a better year than he had last year. I don't think he was satisfied last year. I think he's going to start taking a little bit more leadership role. I challenged Trevor Story over winter weekend to stay healthy, and how is he going to do that? Because I believe being on the field and not only that, but availability is the best ability in the big leagues. Okay, you don't make money hurt, you don't help your team hurt. You got to be available, and so I think he knows that. And of course, we got Casas. I challenged him to have a better year than he did last year. A lot of kids I feel like would have been satisfied with his year last year. I don't think he was. I really, truly don't think he was. And that reminds me of myself a lot, no year was really good enough. So we'll see. Like I said, I think that those guys in that clubhouse and in that office know exactly what they got. And I believe it's a lot better than what people think.
Speaking of Casas, give me an over under on his home run total for next year. What do you got?
Well, to me, I don't know what his own. I haven't looked at that yet, but I'm expecting 25 or more easy. I think he's got the power. I think he reminds me a lot of Ortiz in the fact that wall, he's using that wall to his advantage. As a left-handed hitter in Fenway Park, you don't have to pull the ball. So your advantage there is always an advantage as a left-handed hitter. We may not have no David Ortiz if he doesn't come to Fenway, to be totally honest with you. It changed his whole career. So I'm liking what I see out of him. And not only that, I think he understands that, going into this year, that I'm going to be pitched a little bit different. I'm going to have to be a little bit more patient. I'm going to have to pass the baton, so to speak, to the guy that's sitting behind me, whether it's Devers or Story. And, it's going to have to be a little bit different approach, because he will get pitched different, but he knows that and he's expecting that. So that's what I like.
So kind of going off, you were saying like Casas is like this young, hungry player. One thing that I've always kind of wondered, especially like for someone like you who kind of rising through the ranks of the minors was a starter all along, how like does the mindset and kind of change as you're asked to go into this big bullpen role? You kind of pissed about it, or?
Yeah, no, I'll tell you the backstory to that. Kind of funny. I got out of college. They wanted me to start. And so I said, I didn't really have much say. So I'm a college kid. I think I got back then, which was a lot of money. I think I got like $480 grand. I bought a new truck, put some rims on it, and a house. And so that shit was gone. And I quickly realized that, like I got to start working my ass off here. And so make a long story short, they wanted to start me, and I agreed to it until I realized in 2005 when I got called up and I was on the playoff roster and got to pitch out of the bullpen. I was like, man, this is it. This is the ticket. This is what gets me, man. And I just felt it. I knew it. And I knew that this role would be something that I could be successful in and get me up ready to pitch every day. So I went into spring training in 2007, and I said, Francona, I said, call up Theo. I want to have a meeting, the three of us. He's like, oh, shit, Pat, what the fuck do you want to talk about? Like, we got to get through spring training, man. I said, no, we got to talk. And I said, I ain't a starter no more. And they're like, they start laughing. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, I want to close. And they're like, yeah, well, we're thinking about maybe having Tim close. We'll find a closer by the end of the spring training. Blah, blah, blah. You're going to start in the spring. Of course, I was pissed about starting. And I kind of said to them, I said, okay, all right, so y'all want me to start. And I think then Wakefield was our 5th starter. I mean, so like we were sitting pretty without me involved. And I said, okay, I'll make y'all a deal. I'll start all spring training, but by the 2 weeks that are left of spring training, if we don't have a closer, I'm closing. And I kind of knew that what guys we had in the bullpen weren't going to kind of cut it at the time. Not that they weren't good. Timlin, Manny, they were all good. I just knew what we had. And so sure enough, 2 weeks of spring training come along and they're like, shit, Pat, we have no closer really. You're going to close for us this year. And so that's all she wrote.
That's awesome.
You think that if you didn't advocate for yourself, that you maybe wouldn't have become the closer?
No question. No question about it. Like I look back on this all the time and I'm like, shit, I mean, these GMs and these coaches, they feel and they do know their stuff. They know their shit. But at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer in if I have a player and he is feeling something or like if this is another thing, like listen to your players. And I feel like that's what Cora does very, very well. And he's very lenient. I mean, I don't know how lenient he was on Verdugo this year, but obviously gave him chance after chance until we were like, the hell with this kid. But at the end of the day, you listen to your player because I view that player knows what he wants to go do. And so, I don't know, man. I was a different breed back then, though. I was, I was cocky and I thought I knew everything and would run through a wall. But, that's just how I was, man. And I'm glad they accepted it. I'm glad that, I feel like the Red Sox accepted me. Theo was great for me. Theo always communicated me. He told me I was an idiot sometimes, but hey, we had a great open line. And I feel like that is a success for guys being successful, putting them in successful positions.
Pap, I can't imagine you in any other role outside of closing out games in the 9th inning, like any other role in the bullpen, starting nothing, which it's so strange thinking, like if you would come up in some of these organizations today that don't have traditional closers, like you might be all over the place. Like I'm curious, coming from you, the former closer, Jonathan Papelbon, like what do you think of these teams that think, we can get by closer by committee. We don't need a set closer. What do you think of that?
Man, that's a great question because baseball is starting to head that way. I've always been a firm believer in you need a closer, man. I don't give a shit if you're LeBron in LA on a basketball team, a football team, a hockey team, or a baseball team. If you don't have someone that has enough set of nuts to say, give me the rock, I'm going to close this son of a bitch out night in and night out. And that is their role. And they know, hey, LeBron, you're getting the ball, close it out. Hey, Pasternak, or however you say his name, hey, you're getting the puck here. We're set. We're going to devise a play so that you get the puck, right? Whatever the case may be, you got to have that on a team. I feel like you have to have that. And in baseball, what makes it hard is this whole high leverage situation. And so now you're creating a different role for the closer. And so, man, hell, I honestly feel like a lot of my Red Sox and Phillies records might be safe. I mean, I know records are being made to be broken, but the closers just aren't being used like they used to be. But not that really matters. But to me, it makes it so much harder for a reliever to go out there and be like, oh, shit, you're pitching the 7th today. Oh, I got to change it. Oh, shit, you're in the 9th today. So it's a little harder to me.
So I don't know how to eloquently put this. Does it fuck with the psyche of the rest of the bullpen if there isn't a closer, like a guy that is coming in, a Kenley Jansen type, a guy like you? Does it mess with the other guys?
No shit. Yes. No shit. Yes. I mean, because now you're looking upon someone else like, oh, you shit. Now you got to get it done today. Maybe he's never been in that role before. So, oh shit, man, that fucks with your psyche. Then you got to go and say, okay, well, we got to pick up early innings if the starter doesn't go. So there really are no set roles in Major League bullpens anymore, which I believe it makes it a lot harder for relievers in this game. And I mean, what is a quality start now? Is it still 6 innings or?
Yeah.
6 innings, 3 earned runs, so a 4.5 ERA.
So, nobody's doing quality starts anymore. I mean, that's a rarity. So, like last year, what really pissed me off is, and I said this a lot, I said, in Major League Baseball, if you have your bullpen that throws more innings than your starters, which happened in Boston last year, you're up shit creek, man.
Yeah. Amen. We talk about that a lot on this show.
Pat, speaking of the game today, there was a certain player who made headlines this week, former teammate Anthony Rendon, who said that the season should be significantly shorter considering he only plays 70 games a year anyways. What do you think about that?
Well, I think you've seen my post on Twitter about it. I adamantly disagree.
Yeah.
And if you do feel that way, you don't fucking say it. Look, yeah, of course the season's long, man. I didn't grind through shit, but I'm not going to go and bitch and complain about it. I mean, it's what I signed up for. It's what I'm getting paid for. And at the end of the day, it's what I enjoy. So, right, like, so it even goes into, like, even with my company, like, if I have an employee and he doesn't enjoy what he's doing and want to go out and one of my salesmen want to go, I tell him this. I said, listen, guys, you want to go fucking eat steak every night? Go kill steak. You know what I'm saying? You want to eat McDonald's? Then go after McDonald's. Whatever. But to me, you don't just say it, and that's what kind of irked me. And I played with Rendon, and he was much like a J.D. Drew type player where there was never any energy, and it was always like, oh, I'm in the lineup again today, I guess. And it's just like, it's hard when you grind out. It's hard for the rest of the team not to succumb to that bullshit. You know,
I was just going to say that. I would imagine someone who doesn't want to be there isn't that fun to like play with. Like, that's got to be such a fucking buzzkill.
Yeah, dude. It's like going to the club and like your buddy's like, oh no, I think I'm gonna stay sober tonight. You know what I mean? You're like, get the fuck out. So to me, it's just like, number one, you just don't say it. If that's the way you feel, just don't say it, man. Because not your teammates sure the hell don't want to hear that.
Yeah, nobody. That's for
No one
nobody.
does. Yeah.
And on top of that, bro, you're getting paid. You got a contract for $240 million, so that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
And I can definitely confirm, that the love of the game is just not in those veins with Rendon. I can just, for me, I'd love to show up every day. My goal was to beat Pedroia to the field. And, it was just, that's what's missing in today's game, man. That's the one thing that there's no more like family culture, brotherly culture. You know what? Like, we can all fight, or we can all go out the night before, or, drink and have fun, party. But at the end of the day, we're all coming together for one common goal, and, that has kind of changed in the game. But, and some players evolve from it. Like, I look at Bryce, man. There's nobody more that I cheer for today than Bryce. Bryce is, accepted his role as a leader and accepted his role now as like, I'm being leaned upon. I accept it. Like, I answered my critics, and, he necessarily wasn't like that when I played with him. But now, I'm not saying that our event and when we got into it is because of it, but he's evolved, right? He's evolved into a fucking outstanding player now.
Yeah.
And a leader.
Yeah, one of the best they have in the game today.
Yeah, I was really, really surprised at the Phillies. That's baseball. There are those 3-1 collapses. I was really surprised last year on that.
Yeah. Well, Pap, that Rendon question, or that answer, came to be from a question of what would you change about the game if you could change anything, and he said that. So I'm curious, for you, if someone asked you, I'll ask you, if you could change anything about the game, rules wise or whatever, what would you change?
I'd get rid of the pitch clock. But see, I'm old school, man. So to me, when I showed up to the park and I knew we had a Schilling going against Clemens, Pedro going against Mussina, bro, those were the fucking days, man. Like, I'm sorry, but that's a damn baseball game, okay? And to me, those games were 2.5 hour long games, right? There was no pitch clock. There was and I get it. The fans want to see home runs, but the home runs will come, man. It's just, to me, but I know that's, look, my wishes of that will never happen because it's already evolved. But I would like to see to get rid of that because, now the hitters, they do have a slight advantage, but what are you going to do about it? You have to be able to, make your adjustments too as a pitcher. So me and Joe West used to get into this pitch clock. Yeah, he's an umpire. I don't know if y'all know who he is.
Yeah, Cowboy Joe.
That's your boy.
Yeah, Cowboy Jim's a fucking idiot. But anyway, we used to get into it all the time, and he'd literally be yelling to me get on the mound, let's go. And I'm like, and I would step off and I would say, don't fucking talk to me, shut your mouth. Like interrupting me in my game and my process. I was like, you're an umpire. Like, shut up, dude. And this was even before the pitch clock. So I don't know, man. I'm not a big fan of the pitch clock. I guess I'll say it.
Oh man. Okay. We'll take it back to someone who does love baseball, Terry Francona. So I know this is a tough question. Can you give us a podcast appropriate Terry Francona story?
Yeah. Terry Francona's big thing was, he was more of our psychiatrist and our actual, I'm gonna get in trouble saying this, but Terry Francona didn't manage shit. Okay. Terry Francona was the greatest dad, brother, proprietor, like helper, psychiatrist. Like he was literally bro, you're talking about having to deal with David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Kevin Youkilis, myself, fucking Kurt Schilling. I mean, so he did such a phenomenal job of just literally just being a stable force so that when, Manny was trying to attack everybody with a bat, one day he'd go crazy or there was just shit that he would handle that he made it so easy. And then it was funny because we go out to the game and he'd be so worried about his players or flustered, just, so worried about the players that he couldn't fucking manage, dude. Brad Mills literally made 99.9% of the calls when I played for Terry Francona. Thank God we had Brad. Thank God we had Brad Mills.
That's so funny.
I mean, he'd be over there literally stressing. I don't know. You can go back and look at it. And when I tell you, go back and look at how many times he would look at Brad. Hey, what are we going to do? What are we going to do here, man? And he had no hair and he'd take his hat off and he'd go like that. I mean, what hair are you brushing? And it was awesome. But
Pat, you were there for the craziest of the Manny being Manny times. Do you have a go-to Manny story that you tell people?
Many of my Manny stories we cannot say on this podcast, but Manny, we had to give Manny his own little locker room at one point. I remember because it was just like he would just do the craziest shit to get ready, and he'd be throwing shit in the clubhouse, and you're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm working on my swing, and you're like, he ain't working on your swing, just stupid shit like that. But to me, he was one of the greatest right-handed hitters I've ever seen. And You know, Manny being Manny was just part of the atmosphere and the culture we had. I mean, look, dude, we fought, we loved each other, we got drunk together, our families hung out together. We were such a tight knit group. And I hate that it got kind of broken up, but that's part of sports. But I look back on it, man. I'm like, shit, dude. When I was there, the Celtics were winning, the Red Sox were winning, the Patriots were winning. I mean, hell, Tom had one of those Back Bay high rises like on the corner of my street on Marlboro, and it seemed like in the summertime he was off. There was a freaking party there every night, and it was just like the city was vibrant, man.
Yeah,
and I loved it.
Did you have to go to those parties? A Tom Brady party?
No, I didn't. No, I was always playing because I was always playing. When I was in town, we always had
All right, Pat. We're coming up on our time limit here. Last question, little unorthodox. Let's hear your sales pitch as to why Dustin Pedroia should be in the Hall of Fame as he enters the ballot next year.
Well, to me, I think he's first ballot Hall of Famer, like bar none. You look at the service that he has provided to Major League Baseball, 18 years. You look at the Gold Gloves. You look at the batting title. You look at the MVP. You look at the 3 World Series.
Rookie of the Year.
Oh, yes, and Rookie of the Year. And which I might add, who was hitting like 210 the first month and a half of the season. And the media was all over him, and he actually proclaimed, I'm going to end up hitting over 300. Screw all y'all. I'm going to win Rookie of the Year. And I'm going back to my old swing and, did it. Not only that, the little things that he did just for the city. I don't know how he doesn't get in on the first ballot, but all those things that I just said are all – easy reasons why.
Yeah.
Pap, this guy right here, he leads 2 franchises in saves, but his greatest accomplishment to date might be his play Tessie debut today. Pap, thank you, man. Thanks for coming on with us. We appreciate it.
That sounds good, man. Y'all take care, man.
Thanks for your time, Pat.
All right.
Huge thanks to Jonathan Papelbon for making his play Tessie debut. That was freaking awesome. But before we get into our recap of the interview, just want to make sure you all subscribe. The Odyssey app, Spotify, Apple. Search WEI on YouTube. Find us there on the WEI YouTube channel. Play Tessie Fellas on the WEI YouTube channel. Subscribe there too. We want you to get that notification every time we drop episodes. You want that notification too. Helps everyone out. Just hit that subscribe button. But on that note, that interview was awesome. Jonathan Papelbon is awesome. I want to hear you guys, what are your takeaways? What was it like for you guys interviewing Pap?
Well, I have this issue where I say the F word like it's a normal word to say. And that's just, you grow up in the Boston area. I feel like that happens to a lot of us. And I dropped an F-bomb to Pap and he kind of smiled. So it made me feel much more comfortable. I'm like, this is kind of my people. He has a potty mouth, for lack of a better term, just like me. So in a weird way, I was like, nice. I can just talk like myself, which is sad, but nice.
Yeah, no, he was full of A, energy, and B, just phenomenal stories.
Yeah.
Well, that's the beauty of this whole thing is you talk to Pap and some people, particularly people who are in the limelight, they turn and then behind the scenes it's they're a completely different person. It's the never meet your heroes type deal. But Pap is Pap. He's Cinco Ocho. This is who he is, man. And it doesn't have any other show he's been on. You see it when he's on Nesson. You certainly saw it during the Cinco Ocho show out in Springfield at Winter Weekend. This guy's just he's full of life, man. He's an awesome dude, and we were lucky to watch him for so many years, and certainly we all watched him as kids, so it's a one of a kind experience getting to interview him in this setting at least.
Yeah,
it's weird to see someone you've watched on TV so much, and then you like, you go into the interview and they're in like a little box just like you are, and you're like, oh my God, like you said, don't meet your heroes. I feel like I like Papelbon more now. He's so cool. Yeah, none of us are disappointed. So yeah, that went well. I'm happy with how that went, and I think you guys both did a great job as well.
Yeah, and then the other beauty of this is that Pap, like obviously, like any former baseball player, is going to have awesome stories, and like Pap more than others is going to be willing to tell those stories. Like he's great about that, but at the same time, this is a guy who he's around the team a lot now. He did a lot of work in the Nesson booth last year. He was around the team in Springfield. Like he, I guess, dropped a hint that maybe the Red Sox got something up their sleeve. That's something he said on the radio with Bradfo when we were there. We watched him say it out in Springfield. He said they had something up their sleeve then, and he said it again on the Play Tessie show. So I guess we're going to have to keep our eye out for that.
He also bet the over, which is 82 wins.
He said 82, yeah.
82 wins. So he thinks 83 wins at least. So that's so sad that that's like exciting for us.
Yeah. But one nugget that I liked though was before it was kind of like, I think they have something, like, I don't think they're done. He literally said, I don't want to divulge too far.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That is
Yes.
interesting. That's interesting.
Make of that what you will.
Not for nothing, his former teammate is Craig Breslow.
And tomorrow the Red Sox are going to sign like a depth starting pitcher for like $750K, and that's going to be the move. Nope. Sorry, I'm being positive today.
Well, you know what, Sammy? If other takeaway here, if the Red Sox, whatever, they don't offer Alex Cora, whatever, and he leaves at the end of the year and he goes to the Dodgers, you know who we're hiring as our next manager? I'm making the decision here on Tessie.
Papelbon.
No, Brad Mills.
Oh, yeah,
Brad Mills. Millsy.
Yeah.
Millsy.
Oh, all right. Well, that was great. We're all energized now.
Yeah.
Enough said?
Well, yeah. We'll let's be energized in our enough said, and I'll go first because mine actually has to do with Pap. So I grew up in Wayland, Massachusetts, small town, kind of near Newton and Weston, Sudbury. If you guys know where those towns are, I don't know where our listeners are, but small town, about 35, 40 minutes outside of the city. And I was maybe a fourth or fifth grader. There was this rumor going around town that Pap was moving into a house in town. It was this really big house, and like I could walk to it. This guy would be my neighbor in this house. And for the better part of a year, all we talked about was, like, me and my friends was, is this Papelbon? Like, is he going to move in there? And like, we saw people like moving in, whatever, like, we couldn't see because the house was it was a long driveway. Evidently it wasn't Pap. It was a family with quadruplets moved into the big house because they had to support their quadruplets. Crazy. Didn't even know that was a thing until then. I didn't know there was such thing as more than twins until I saw quadruplets. Evidently, I think he did end up living in our town. I'd have to ask him. One of these days I'm going to ask him if he lived in Wayland. Someone told me they saw in a newspaper something about his wife, and it said, like, I think her name's Ashley Papelbon of Wayland, Massachusetts. So Kira, I'll have to ask Pap if he has any positive memory from Wayland. Maybe there's some negative ones. But yeah, that's my enough said. Papelbon, potential resident of the land that raised Gordo, Wayland, Massachusetts.
Wow. So he would only be the second most famous guy out of Wayland if that's the case after you.
That is correct. Yep, that's correct. It is me and then Pap and
then
Jay
the
Crowder.
Who was the girl at the radar gun at Winter Weekend.
Yeah. Radar gun girl.
Oh, true. Yeah, radar gun girl at Winter Weekend. She could be after Pat, but in front of Jay Crowder. That's how it'll go. We're the top four.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Pat, you want to go? Because my enough said is nothing to do with baseball.
I'll go last.
Okay. So I need to introduce to everybody a conspiracy theory that I've created in my own head. So I like to shop at Trader Joe's, and I think Trader Joe's is too good to be true. And guys, feel free to interject if you think that's the case. I brought some props.
Okay.
Kung Pao chicken.
Oh.
This is a bit, look, it's the size of my head. This was $6, and it's really good. Teriyaki chicken, same thing, $6. So that's 12. That's about 4 meals for $12. And the pot stickers, like $5.
Yo, I picked up those pot stickers yesterday too.
They're great.
They rock.
They're so good, and like the quality of the food.
I had to interject on that. Trader Joe's frozen food rocks, dude.
Yeah. Okay. This is why I figured somebody would have an opinion.
Of course, it's
Here's
the
my
earthy,
conspiracy.
crunchy boys.
So my conspiracy is like it's a very broad conspiracy. There has to be something sinister with Trader Joe's. There's no way that they can give out this much good food for this cheap and not have something sketchy going on. And from every corner of the world too, they have Chinese food, Japanese food, Indian food, Italian food, Mexican food, American stuff. I can go on and on. Kosher food. They got everything.
Do you want me to like burst your bubble a little bit here?
Oh
You
God.
can't.
Well, don't they pay their employees well? Like they
They
don't
do.
they also
They do
like
actually, like-
their employees have it good. So like what the hell? You're right, Sammy. It's like
that's
this
another
is
thing.
like-
So that's the thing. Is like they buy.
This is
they
the
buy
Braves
wholesale.
Foundation. God damn it!
They buy wholesale from people and just put their name on it. Like it's not like that's just how that whole thing works. And they also use like a lot of plastics. I'm gonna be like that, like the lib in the chat.
Well, if you're
They,
right,
they use a lot of like plastic packaging and like it's all very cheap, like produce that you're buying or like cheap products that you're buying. But it's
Go
so
back to your
goddamn
Subaru,
tasty.
asshole.
Hey, I'm still buying Trader G's.
that tweet.
J's, Trader J's.
Look at it. You're so you accidentally just said Biden instead of buying. So look at you. No, but for real, like even with that, Coop's probably right. My bubble's not burst. I'm still a little confused because the prices are insanely low. Like you would think in America, where you can be worth $5.1 billion and still be cheap, that a company like Trader Joe's would want to make. I don't know. I don't get it. It sketches me out. Am I going to stop buying food from them? No chance. It's too good.
Yeah, Sammy. See, like that's a good point because I do almost all my shopping at Costco. I freaking love Costco.
Costco shit.
But it makes sense why they're able to sell such items in bulk for such a good price because you're like people are paying the membership fee and like lucky me, like my mom's got a membership and you get 2 cards, so I'm keeping that card forever, never going off that. It's like the health insurance thing, but you get to keep it forever. So that's me at Costco. But Trader Joe's
makes sense though, because they're right up front with you. They're like, we're wholesale. You buy in bulk. You buy anything you want from us. But it just feels like the food is too good at Trader Joe's for it to make sense. If it sucked, like if you're having like Kirkland hot dogs and it's $1, all right, whatever. Like I know I'm eating trash, but it tastes good. This is like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm probably overthinking it, but something sinister is happening. I'm convinced of it.
Sammy, you know what this reminds me of? It's like we might have talked about it on this podcast. Have we talked about like the mattress firm theory on this podcast? How that's like
how it's money laundering,
right? Like I don't think that Trader Joe's is money laundering because like that's not what this is. But
unless
unless
there are any mattress companies that want to sponsor the podcast, just want to put that.
You're
in
always
as
welcome.
producer.
Oh, true. Yeah. We'll cut that. We'll go back.
No. Speak your truths.
No. We're not going to cut it. We're not going to cut it.
No, if they want to correct their, if they want to change the public opinion on them, come talk to us.
How about this? If any mattress company would like to come clean and admit that they're money laundering, play Tessie. We'll back you up.
Yes.
We will put ourselves on the line for you.
Sammy, you are a PR rep. This is what you do. Spin zone.
And let me tell you, this would be fantastic PR to stand up for a company admitting to money laundering. Because
hell yeah,
if they're willing to tell the truth, then how can we say we're better? There's the PR spin.
I agree, Sammy. This is what you're here for, man. This is why you're so valuable to us.
Giving terrible advice.
No, you give great advice.
Yeah.
All right, Pat. What do you got? What's your Nuf Ced?
Much like Papelbon, I will not divulge too far into what I know. But we have another interview next week, and I think everyone's going to love it.
Oh, who could it be with?
I don't know. I don't
We
know.
don't. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
People will
But
love it. He's a cool guy. I'm guessing. Who knows? Maybe I know. Maybe I don't. We'll see.
It's crazy.
I'm guessing.
Nobody has a clue who you're talking about, which is the best
No.
part. Yep.
No. And
Anyway.
if I won't say, no, I'm not going to hit it too much. I'm not going to hit it too much.
Yeah, don't give it away.
Yeah, I won't give it away.
God.
I won't
How
give it
could he?
away.
How could he? How could he do that, man?
I won't
How
give
could
it
he
away.
Oh man, yes, that will be fun. I'm excited to.
I'm super excited. Yeah, it's going to be
yeah.
awesome. We'll have a good time.
Get the
yeah, we
interviews
still-
up on.
Oh, the stories me and him could tell. No, I'm kidding.
Again, who we should all fuel up. We should all fuel up with some fair trade Trader Joe's coffee before the interview next week. And I know we all agree on that.
No free ads.
Unless you want to sponsor us.
In which case, it's not free.
Oh,
Yeah.
Coop just jumped in. I thought Coop was going to yell at me for talking about Trader Joe's coffee, because he's a coffee guy. But
I think, yeah.
He could have been considering it, but evidently
It's kind of
backed
I
he
don't
backed
coffee shame. Have whatever
Yeah.
coffee you want.
Trader Joe's coffee is it's pretty mid. It's not bad.
I'm an ally.
Okay, Coop's like Trader Joe's coffee ally. The
You
bread
guys,
man.
you guys can have your coffee. I've had 2 sips of coffee in my life. I don't think I'll be having a third.
That's wild.
I love
had
when we
two-
find out every few episodes we find out something wild about Gordo.
Oh, wait. This is a great pivot. I had 2 iced coffees today. Sammy, we are the same. Every coffee I've gotten the past 3 years, less ice.
Less ice, right?
Less ice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Sammy, give that advice on Play Tessie. Give more value. I thought that was smart. If I drank coffee, I would have appreciated the hell out of that
Okay.
tweet.
So it's like a Dunkin' hack, and I'm not even joking. This actually, it works, and you get way more coffee. When you order on the app or in person, and you get an iced coffee, ask for less ice, because Dunkin' and any other coffee place, they will load up your coffee with ice, which translates to less coffee. I do this every single time. I say it works better in the winter because the weather keeps your iced coffee cold, but you can do it in the summer too. And it gives you, I would say, 20% more coffee. It makes a difference. Pat, you say you do it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out Dunkin'. The best coffee in the land. Less ice.
Less ice. Well, you know what? On that note, I hope you guys enjoyed our interview with Jonathan Papelbon. We certainly enjoyed talking to Pap. Pap's the best. Before you head out, just remember, click that subscribe button, Odyssey app, Spotify, Apple. Search that WEI, Play Tessie on YouTube. Find us there. Subscribe there. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Shout out Wilkie, a listener fighting at Rough and Rowdy.
Yep.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yep.
Let's go. Go Wilkie. Let's go. Yeah, shout out Wilkie. I'm sure Wilkie subscribes. So you should too. And good luck, Wilkie, at Rough and Rowdy. Bless you, Pat.
Bless you, Pat.
Thank you, Pap, for the interview. This has been Play Tessie, episode 31, a really good one. Tulu.